All right, so I had a conversation with a client, and we were talking about a couple of things, you know, the connectiveness and all stuff, and non-duality and whatnot. And so I want to start with this. Okay, I made a video. One of my, I think it was like 10 videos back. I don't remember, but I spoke on that. My garden is connected to the land that you walk in, so it don't matter. Like, everything is basically, you broadcast anything from where you're standing, and it can actually. It can be caught here. I mean, my garden is connected to your land, but in actuality, the reason it's my land, your land, humans created this separation between, you know, my land and your land, my country and your country. We're all walking on the same land. You know what I'm saying? We're all part of the same terra. Like, we're walking on Mother Earth. All right, which is why I said that whatever's happening in your area is being caught here where I'm at. It's no different than if, you know, if you're thinking of me and I happen to call you. Oh, what a coincidence, I was just thinking of you. You know, you just kind of caught that frequency. So you it's like an attraction that happened there. All right, and you can kind of start to see where how are we all one? I mean, if you really think about it, we all share something in common called something that's misunderstood, like love. You know what I'm saying? Like, people think they understand what love is, but even like me gardening, I've had a deeper awareness of what love is. Okay, but what we share in common, all of us here on the planet, is consciousness. And I want you to think about just consciousness. Okay, just pure consciousness. All right, the only thing that separates you and I is the story around the character that you have, that you think is you. Okay, and the same thing with me. So we're separated by the stories around your consciousness, because if not, it would just be pure consciousness, right? So look at it from this perspective, okay? Because we look at consciousness, and something closely related would be awareness. Like, you go into the woods and you're hunting an animal, okay? You're aware that you're about to kill this animal, but this animal is not aware of you. Okay, you know, or look at it like this, for example. You could be listening to information online, okay, or reading a book, and you're not up frequency. You won't be able to get anything out of that information. The person could be the most impactful speaker, and it would mean nothing. All right, it's like casting pearls upon swine. Okay, so you won't understand the frequency because you're not at that level. Okay, and there's levels to it. You get what I'm saying? Let's say, for example, you are consuming some information and then you didn't understand it, but later on you're like, oh shit, I didn't know what they were saying before, but I understand what they're saying now. You changed your frequency. You upgraded your supercomputer to some extent. See, here's the thing, because we look at upgrades as a good thing, but I can also compare this to you consuming food. If you consume simple food, you save energy, right? If you never ate meat before and I give you a piece of meat and you never ate meat before, it's not going to sit well with you, because your body is not used to processing such a complex piece of chemistry. You get what I'm saying? Now, this complex piece of chemistry could be a good thing or could be a bad thing. See, when you consume this complexity, you're using a lot of energy to process this complexity, right? Now, your body is a very complex machine. It's such a complex machine that it can be used to change your life. But what are you consciously aware of what you are actually consuming? See, it could be empty calories or it could be nutritious calories, okay? Even if it's complex or not. Because we're looking at it from perspective here real quick. So if you don't understand what I'm saying, notice how I tell you, let me break it down for you so that you can actually get an understanding of what I'm saying. Or like, if you have a computer, the file is too big or you don't have enough storage room, right? Then you can either upgrade the computer, clear out some storage, you know, for you to be able to download the megabytes on that. Because that's why, again, it's not something that the computer can hold or process. Your body, same thing, information, the person may have to break it down for you, or you could just upgrade your system. Because there's a lot of people who are online also saying, oh, you use long words and you use these complex words sometimes. Not me, but I hear this from other people on like other channels. But it's like, why does the speaker have to dumb himself down for you? Why don't you just become smarter? That's like people in society complaining about inflation. Instead of complaining about inflation, you can also think about how you can make more money, right? So you see how you could change perspectives here. My garden, I look at this as the most abundant thing that anybody could do. I mean, like I told you in previous videos, when I look at the leaves growing on my trees, they look like money is actually growing on trees, right? It looks like money is actually growing on trees. But to somebody else, that may not be abundance at all. See, I can turn this into a business and actually now make money out of it. But here's the thing though. See, this is the thing. It comes down to balance. And I'm going to get into that in a second when it comes down to integration on what you're doing with your life. Because this could turn from gardening into farming real quickly if I lose myself. See, the plants, everything around me picks up around my energy. So, you know, the person that I was talking to put me onto a video on this non-dualistic speaker talking about self-development is a bad idea. You see, when you're not aware of yourself, it is a bad idea, right? But if there's a difference between waking up from the game, when you can say waking up from the game or waking up to the game. When you wake up from the game, you're still in your character. When you wake up to the game, then you don't associate with your character the same way. No different than when I play a video game. If I'm playing a video game, I am aware that I am not that character in the video game. But I'm playing the game to have fun and to basically level up as much as I could. You get what I'm saying? Like children come into this existence, and if they run, they want to try to run faster. They want to try to do things better. In the woods or in the forest, trees grow as tall as they can. They don't just stop at a certain level. You know what I'm saying? So when you wake up to the game, you have to come back down to ground yourself here to some extent and experience this dream or this reality, right? When you observe this dream or this reality and you're grounded, you can kind of see that, wow, there's so much more to life to experience. Like, you're telling me that I can get on private jets, or you know, I can have like millions of dollars in my bank account, and I can travel to anywhere I want, not have to worry ever about bills. That's a possibility. But the whole thing is, you don't have to chase those things. See, those things can be attracted to you very, very easily. And no different than I just told you, that if you were thinking of somebody, they just happen to call you. Wow, what a coinkydink, right? In my garden, I happen to have a green thumb, right? When we talk about money, money's green, right? I have a green thumb. I grow things by accident outside. Things just grow. You know what I'm saying? I wasn't planning on growing fucking tomatoes. They just voluntarily grew. So what I do, all right, I looked at that as a fucking great thing. See, the smallest little emotion, such as gratitude, can basically snowball you. It's like a snowball effect into a favorable position for you, right? So here's the thing though. I've got literally 6 watermelon vines that I didn't plant. They voluntarily grew. They might have just, you know, slipped into the compost or something, and they're growing. And coincidentally, they're growing in places that I don't mind that they're growing in. All right? And I have 9 extra watermelons growing out of those vines. Meanwhile, I've already harvested 30 watermelons. And I've got about another 30 outside. You get what I'm saying? So I look at that as abundance, right? But to somebody else, that may not be abundance. Let's go back into the perspective of things. See, back then, I was making, in my opinion, boatloads of money. Boatloads of money. But to a multi-millionaire, what I was making may just be child allowance, right? But the reason to me it seemed like boatloads of money is because the amount of money I was making was very good versus the bills I was paying. I decided to get into an apartment that was a reasonable price, but I was making such a fucking good amount of money that I had 3 cars at that time. I thought I was fucking Donald Trump. I went outside, I tipped people like 40%. You know what I'm saying? I was so comfortable with the amount of money I was making that I was giving it away, right? But to a multi-millionaire, he would have laughed at the amount of money that I thought I considered boatloads of money. But the reason I considered it boatloads of money is because I didn't get myself into buying a fucking house that I would have had to now struggle to make the payments on, and the boatloads of money that appeared to be boatloads of money to me would now look very, very small. You get what I'm saying? So this is why it's important to kind of develop yourself in a sense where you kind of know how to manage your energy, hence money or energy to some extent, what you invest time or what you invest yourself into. You see, here's the thing though. People, places, and things, movies, games, everything's showing you something. But why? Because everything is you. There's nothing outside of you that really exists unless you are projecting it into existence, right? Like, for example, the one I observe the most is my child. See, my child is not smarter than me, but my child, okay? I had my child and I planted that seed in my woman, okay? And I had a certain mental state, right? At that time. And now I'm in a different mental state now, okay? Now, my philosophy changed along the way somewhere because the amount of money that I was making back then, I'm not making now. However, I've had different gains now as far as experiences go, right? But it's not to demonize one or the other. Right now, it's about integrating what I once knew and how it felt I had to integrate that to what I have now and now grow something bigger from there. And the reason I brought my child up is because I was under a certain mental state. And now my child is showing me, believe it or not, certain things that I was doing back then. Okay? Because my mental state was there. But you see, you have to be aware of the people, places, and things around you. Again, what is your level of awareness? Consciousness. What separates us from animals is that we can make choices to change generational wealth or programs of things that we've been indoctrinated in up until now. Like, I was hearing Jim Rohn talk one time, and he talked about how birds fly in a certain direction every season, but they have no other choice but to do that. You see, humans can basically alter and change directions to favor them if that direction is no longer favorable for them. So you have the ability to change and you have options to make choices. This is free will. You appear to not think you have free will, but you have free will. You're just not aware of the fact that you can make these choices. Every day that you wake up, you're waking up to a new life. So if you're in a game, it's kind of like, you know, you're in a video game and you die and you come back. Oh, I'm back. I have another chance to play the game. So you kind of keep playing the game the same way. You die every day when you go to sleep. And every day, that's why you feel like a new person. No matter how much pain or inflammation or whatever you may have gone through, it's like the next day you feel better, right? But you have to have your computer and your body in harmony and in homeostasis for you to recover faster. And the older we get, we recover a lot slower based on programming, again, because you really don't slow down unless you think you slow down. But also, it's how you treat your body that kind of slows you down to some extent. That's why when you fast, you hear the word fast, you speed up the computer, you're clearing up space. Because when you listen to ideas, don't you weigh the information you listen to? Do you buy into an idea? Do you not? Everything is just ideas. You're selling and you're buying shit every day anyway. So it's wise to learn about the fucking marketing of things and how things work in the business world. I mean, when you look at fucking MMA like the UFC or wrestling or whatnot, they have drafts, they have cuts, right? If somebody's not performing good, they get cut from the organization. The organization, you're full of organs, you're a system, you're an organization, you're a business operator, but you're aware of too many of the systems outside, but not aware of the systems you wake up and sleep with every day, right? So money, for example, is something that it's a mindset that you can attract, okay? But the reason I even bring this up, I already made a video and I already noticed how YouTube works. If I upload too many videos in one time, the algorithm gets fucked up, right? Because I uploaded 3 very good videos, in my opinion. Again, because perspective is everything here, right? But in my opinion, and it's gotten the lowest views. But why did it get the lowest views? The algorithm. See, notice when you go live, you actually trick the algorithm. You can actually get more views by going live, right? But when you do things recorded, it's like the algorithm is you're under the mercy of the algorithm, right? So you could perform live. That means if you could do a live stream and perform live, all right, that's actually a very good thing. That says a lot about what you can do in the business world as well. Live, right? Because there's no editing. There's none of that shit. It's just live, right? So I just got my laptop because now, apparently right now, I'm actually I'm traveling a lot. You know what I'm saying? And I'm talking to a lot of different people. You know, I'm going to Atlanta soon. I just got back from New Orleans. I had to cut that trip short because I had a couple clients here. But it's a beautiful experience. But right now, let's get back on topic with the philosophy. What the fuck was I gonna say, man? I even lost my train of thought. So I was talking about the fasting and whatnot. So when you fast, for example, and again, you weigh information, right? You can unlearn, right, what you learned, or you can utilize it as a tool and integrate it, and now that makes an opportunity for something bigger to grow. You kind of like, how do you think fucking plants are genetically modified? They take one strain of plant and mix it with another one, and you just made a new fruit. You get what I'm saying? Why do you think they call it the Meyer lemons, right? That means they fucking took one strain, mixed it with another, and combined it. They got crimson sweet watermelons. They got Charleston Grays, Icebox. All these are hybridized from different strains, and they made a fruit. They made the new fruit. You get what I'm saying? So this is what you do in life. You kind of get what you learned, combine it, and if it works, you just made something bigger, right? So from my perspective, I was making a lot of money. Just like the garden to somebody else may not seem like anything. It's just fucking gardening, you know what I'm saying? But it's not something that's abundance, right? Now, the reason I say that, because the video that somebody presented to me with this non-dualistic speaker speaking about self-development is worthless and should not be engaged in. I don't like the word should not. You get what I'm saying? Or it should be avoided at all costs. See, it depends on where you're at, first of all. Because there's a lot of non-dualistic speakers that I hear, and some of them are on the right frequency, you know what I'm saying? But some of them are basically just under trauma, and they buy into that idea because they're running away from something. They become nihilistic to some extent. You get what I'm saying? And right now, when you look at earth, heart is closely related. The heart chakra is green. You go outside, you got a green thumb. When you're in the business world, it's about the same thing. It's money, it's green. The green frequency is very important, okay? When you go outside, if I go outside, the plants react to my energy, okay? This is why you have a green thumb. The plants respond to your energy. And that loving, harmonious passion that I have for the garden is a harmonious frequency that's it has the ability to build and things just grow, right? So like I said, I grow things by accident. You can go out into the business world. Some people can't hold on to money. Some people can't make money or grow money, right? But that's why it's what are you in harmony or in frequency with? The same way I just told you, heart to heart with somebody else. If I'm speaking to somebody of a mind building, you know what I'm saying, instead of debating, then this is an opportunity right here for ideas, new things to actually come out, right? Heart-to-heart conversations, right? It's unconditional. Nobody's robbing anybody. Nobody's stealing any energy. It's just a reciprocity. And this is how you build on conversation, right? So if I go outside, the plants respond to my good energy and they grow, they get healthier, they get green. The ecosystem is very complex, right? Now, the life, the universe that I created outside is going to have obstacles. There's going to be pests, insects, right? But the way you set up your universe, it is set up for the garden to work for you and not you work for the garden. See, I set up my garden with a thick layer of mulch, which means I don't have to go out and water my plants. I just wait till it rains, right? And it retains that moisture. But the reason it's so important is not for the simplicity of the fact that I don't have to go out and garden. It's for the simple fact that the microbes and the bacteria underneath don't get compromised. That's what was responsible for keeping my plants healthy is the bacteria, the soil, the conditions of the soil, composting, right? Now, as above, so below. As above, the bigger the ecosystem, the better the universe. More life, right? So life and death. You can experience this life to the fullest, right? Networking is all about this shit, right? For example, if there's so much to life that I can experience, why can I not experience that when I've been told that it's possible to experience that? because I'm not using this body, the complexity, the supercomputer. I'm only using it for a mundane life, to live a 9-to-5 life, have regular relationships, sleep every day, wake up and die every day. You know what I'm saying? Be born again to die, be born again to die, to just live a regular mundane life, right? Because your character doesn't matter. My cats, all right, all they do is sleep and just wait till I feed them and play a little bit. That's it. That's their life. So you may as well just go hang out with a cat and just be a cat. So that's what separates us, that we can have these experiences, these complex emotions and experiences to enjoy life to the fullest. But you would have to understand death, right? Integration. You kind of, and death is just basically either letting go or transformation. So once you can understand that, like the seasons, right? There's a reset here, right? There could be powdery mildew in one of my plants. There could be an infestation of pests. But because the winters come, right? It's a reset. And in spring, they're dormant up until the middle of the summer when they emerge. You can look at that as a good and bad thing though. If there was summer all year round, then maybe the infestation wouldn't be so heavy. Because the way that the cycles will go would be more spread out and more dispersed. The reason that they're so aggressive when there's seasons is because they're all uniformly going dormant or dying, reproducing, and then making the new beetles come up all at the same time because of the seasons. So they're uniformly coming back according to the seasons. But you as the God of the universe have control of how you manage that in the garden, right? So when you are out in business, when you're going to have obstacles, you know what I'm saying? You're going to have obstacles. When you're in the God frequency, you're going to have obstacles. People, places, and things are going to challenge you. Like, for example, I'll give you a very simple example. You're in control of your emotions and frequency, right? If you're on a frequency where you know you're going to attract at that frequency, somebody else can cut you off on the road. And you will know if you give into, are you going to get pissed off and go curse that person out? Or if somebody does something that actually pushes your buttons, right? There's a fine line between just turning the other cheek, like they say with Jesus Christ, or just basically not allowing that person to manage your emotions. Like, you're in control of your emotions, right? Because you're on that God frequency. But if that person managed to get you off your frequency, then that person's in control of your life, right? Everything, the garden, business, everything is managed that way. And I hope I didn't miss anything. But again, my perspective on boatloads of money that I made to a millionaire, that's chump change, right? But if I can get to that frequency, I can get to that frequency, believe it or not. But growing it from where my perspective was at one point. But this is why managing your money is important as far as to what you can spend versus what you know you have right now. You know what I'm saying? Coming in. Now, that grows. But that's how your perspective gets fucked up. When you start to take on more than what you can handle. That's when now things appear to not be boatloads of what you have. I mean, I know that if I'm missing something else, I'll make it in another video, but for now, we'll talk soon. There's also something that I'm going to be pretty much announcing. So we'll talk soon.